we have the start of a kitchen. Very excited to share with you guys the progress, where things stand, the bumps along the road that we've had to face that we are trying to rectify. And we've got countertop fabrication starting today. The amazing Todd Branson Stoneworks, they are coming and they're going to measure everything out. In any case, we're going to do an update. It's an update, kitchen progress. Let's do it right now. Let's walk you through and show you a little bit about what's going on and what is going to happen today with regard to the fabrication of our soapstone countertops. Very excited. So as we walk in to the kitchen now, look, there's an actual peninsula here. Fascinating. There was nothing, and now there is something. So I showed you guys in all the plans, we decided to do these really big drawers, and we chose a shaker style cabinet, and the paint color is called Dove. It's a beautiful paint color. It's very much like a beigey, greigey, I would say more on the light, beige color. I wanted a little bit more contrast between the cabinetry and the soapstone, and then the awesome Flooret flooring that has that nice beachy vibe to it. If I would have went pure white, I just think it would have been too white. And then we've got the beautiful pure white subway tile going all around behind. Here is where the stove is going to be. And then we've got the hood that's gonna be up here. So this whole wall, as we refocus, this whole wall behind the hood is all gonna be tile, that big 3x12. And then over here too, it'll all be tile behind the floating shelves. So these are the bracket and support system, and then the floating shelves slide right over top of those after we're tiled. So with all of that white subway tile and then selecting cabinetry, I really had a change of thought. I didn't want to go too dark. Again, I wanted to keep things very light, very, very, very fresh because of the size of this space. For me personally, it's not to say you can't go dark in small spaces. You absolutely can. Just for us and our taste, I just wanted something light and fresh, but I just didn't want white. So this beigey, greigey color is just so beautiful. It's so warm, and I am honestly obsessed with the color. I went with these antique brass hardware poles from Renovation. I love them. I went through a couple of iterations of different samples of hardware, and ultimately these did it for me. And I really liked this detail. I don't know, it's got some ridges and edges, and it gives it a little bit more detail to it. And our flush mounts, the lights that are going in the ceiling, I wanted some kind of common element. And this detail actually is also a part of the brass detail that's on the flush mounts, which I'll show you guys once we get to that point. But it was just a really nice kind of balance and commonality between the hardware and the lights that I really liked. The Drawers are fabulous because they are all soft close. So nice. They will save you years and years and years. So I always recommend upgrading. If your cabinets do not come with that feature standard, upgrade that, because it will save you over the course of however many times you use your hip to close them or little kid hands, whatever. It will be very useful. So what you're seeing on top of the countertop right now is basically it's the wood boarding that you need to put down so that the fabricator for your countertops can come in and measure not only the exact size, but the actual countertop itself will actually go right on top. So it's got the whole template situated out here so you can see, you know, from countertop, and then where we have this blue marked line out, that's the additional countertop overhang. So this is more or less the peninsula, right? So whenever we decide on our final choices for bar stools, probably gonna go with a natural element, I think, rattan, something along those lines to really bring in the other natural elements that I'm gonna have in the design. So we have a nice good foot, you know. You wanna have a good foot between where you're sitting and the back side of the counter. And we also chose to go with the wrap. So this piece here is the wrap and matches our cabinets. So you could drywall. For us, the issue was the amount of quantity of the slab that we have for the countertops, and was it going to be enough to where if I drywalled, I was going to have a little bit more of a stick out for the drywall, and then I would lose, again, this depth. And you really want a good foot underneath, otherwise it can feel a little tight. You can do it, but I'm just not a huge fan. So we went with the wrap, and I'm going to be putting some quarter round molding that matches the Flooret flooring that we have. And so the molding will go here to kind of finish it off and give it a little bit more of an elevated finished aesthetic. So that'll go along that side and then along this side too. And we also bumped this side out a bit because inside of here is the electric. So we'll have an outlet that will be on the side of the peninsula, which is great. So you can plug in, you know, phone, lamp, haven't quite decided yet. So being creative when it comes to the lighting in your kitchen is something that can often be overlooked. It's very easy to think about hardwired lighting in kitchens because it's the easiest thing to think about, right? So most people have drywalled walls, so you don't really have to worry so much about pulling electrical through here and there and adding it. But when you have walls that are a little bit harder to deal with, meaning it's just gonna cost you a lot more to work in new electric, that would be the case for us with all of these concrete walls, and the places where the electric was originally wired for doesn't really connect to where we want the new electric to be. So that would just require a lot more electrical labor and work and things that weren't prepared to handle or want to invest in during this stage of the renovation. You know, there's always going to be things you have to pick and choose. And I'm sure we might look back on some things and say, I wish I would have. That happens with everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a designer or a regular person that's just going through a home renovation or an investment property. Everybody has those moments. So I wanted to think about lighting because I love lighting design. I really wanted to think about lighting design in a kitchen that felt more cozy and that felt a little bit more homey. So when I think about lighting, it's all about layered lighting. I did a great blog post about layered lighting, and I think that everybody should go and check it out. It's on my website, and I think it's why layered lighting should be your new best friend, something along those lines. You can check it out in my blog, and it's really about using light at different heights, layers, and values inside of your space because it creates different experiences. Above our floating shelves, again, we had to decide, are we gonna hardwire some sconces that can overhang? But the distance that I wanted the shelves to the distance to the ceiling, I mean, I have just over a foot. And I have things that are genuinely going to be put on these shelves. These shelves are not just for pretty decor and styling. I need to put plates and cups and dishes, and hence the heavy duty situation we've got on those shelves. So was I going to have the room to do a cute sconce that kind of pops out, you know, and focuses the downlight onto the shelves? I don't really know if I'm going to have the room for it, okay? It's kind of TBD right now. And I didn't want to make that decision and install them and then realize, oh no, now where am I going to put the rest of this stuff that I needed, and I needed drawers for other things. So if I do have this space, something creative I was looking into is you can do traditional sconces, okay? Take out the back portion of the actual electrical wiring on the hardwired portion of the sconce, and you can mount the sconce just like you would if you were hardwiring them. And instead of using a traditional light bulb, you can get the wall pucks, the lighted wall pucks that you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's, etc. And you can stick those, actually, they even make, like, you can use a Velcro strip on each side, and you can pop in the puck light. And the puck lights also, a lot of them come with remote controls, so you could literally turn it on and off. Kind of a really cool option if you're just really looking for more of the aesthetic as opposed to the function of a specific light focusing on a specific thing. It's going to provide light, it's just not going to provide the same kind of hardwired light, but it's going to provide a pretty aesthetic option for people who maybe can't or just don't want to spend the money to hardwire some lights. So I might play with those ideas. The other kind of wall-mounted sconce I'm thinking about is maybe on this side, something that's got an interesting arm that can hang over on the peninsula area that we have here, because then it functions as that task lighting that recessed lights up above or pendants would serve. So it comes over and I can move it as I want it. So those are some lighting options that I'm playing with. Also, even a table lamp, like I said, on this side, it might be kind of cozy and warm and homey. So if I put a really pretty chunky textural lamp, it might be pretty cool. Think like your grandma. Like when you were growing up, I know that my grandma and even my mom, like, we had little lamps on the countertops in the kitchen. And it was just cozy, you know, they'd be turned on at night, almost like a nightlight sort of environment if you didn't have, you know, a microwave or a hood lamp and the little lights that go with those. You know, we had little lamps. So I think you should just think about how you can implement lighting in your kitchen that's not so hardwired traditional. I am waiting on Todd Branson, who is going to fabricate the soapstone countertops that we got and measure everything today so that they can go back and create exactly what we need so we can get them installed. And maybe next episode I can go to their shop and we can watch them actually make my countertop. That'd be pretty cool. Let me know if you'd be into that. Comment down below. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and let me know if you have any questions. Comment down below. Bye.